Life is a process. Well, today we're going to be talking about the quick win. After the intro, let's get it.
You have one life. You got a calling and a purpose. Welcome to the Witness to Power podcast, the show that encourages and inspires you to be who God has called you to be. I'm your host and digital evangelist, Ashley Sims.
What's going on, everybody? We're back again for another episode of Witness Power Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about something that can be taken two ways. We're talking about the quick win. In life, sometimes we just want things done fast and over. Processes. The Bible talks about in Galatians 6:9, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And sometimes we go through stuff we think it's a little too long. And so the quick win could be two things. If you are learning something, that means that when you're going through the process, you see small victories at a time and can see things happening, and it keeps you moving forward. And we can look at it that way too. But in the kingdom, this is a little different because it can be influenced by several things. Because when we in this culture, get it right now, it can affect you spiritually, mentally, and physically. Because it seems like everybody wants the shortcut. The things we want the success overnight. We see, like, if you start, like I said, that same thing can happen too with the training. Sometimes you want things done now, and you misconstrue people's story. The instant breakthrough, the fast money, the viral moment. And people are selling this attitude around you. If you've been on social media, you've been on YouTube, things of that nature, or you've been on sales calls, this is kind of the environment you feel, the pressures of life, the pressures of things coming, the cost of living, and you're like, man, I need it right now. I need relief. And sometimes we got to endure for a moment to get that process laid out and ironed out. And this could affect us, like I said, spiritually. And sometimes we want the harvest without the process. Sometimes we want success without discipline and growth without patience. Because of that, we begin to abandon the process for what feels good in the moment. So not every quick opportunity is the best opportunity for you. Some things look rewarding because they're immediate. You get the fast attention, you get the fast validation, and you get the fast success. But the quick win can create a long-term weakness if you bypass character, discipline, and growth. And that's what I'm talking about in the kingdom, and also in business as well, and also in your learning, because if you bypass the principle, the process, and compromise your character, your discipline, and your growth, yeah, this is going to lead to that, like Christ said about building on sand. So when the storms come, great with the fall of it. But when somebody built their house upon a principle, foundation, it was set up on a rock. So when the storm came to beat on, the house did not fall because it was built on a solid foundation. But if we go after the quick win, the quick this and the quick relief and quit that, it can lead to that. Your foundation is not stable. If you're one of those people that's chasing what is easy instead of building what's lasting, and sometimes the reason people quit too early is because the process doesn't feel exciting enough. It doesn't. When you go through the process, it doesn't feel exciting because that's what it takes for us. And we got to understand there's a process to everything, me included. Because some things, when I'm doing and learning, I'm like, man, this is taking a long time. It's because I'm looking at not what's happening. I'm looking at still focused on the wrong thing. If we think about when Peter got out that boat and he asked Jesus, can he come out on the water? Guess what? He stepped out, he walked on the water, and then he started focusing on everything but Jesus and began to sink. And that's what happens to us when we don't respect the process. So let's think about how often people compare their behind the scenes process to somebody else's highlight reel. You see someone's success and think, why isn't this my life? Why isn't it moving for me fast enough? Why does my progress feel so slow? Why does everybody else seem to be ahead? And that's what plays in your mind. And you got to cast that stuff down because it's going to hinder you. And then you may compromise yourself so that you can compare yourself and get ahead of what you feel is taking a long time. But what don't you always see is during that, it's the years of consistency those people were doing. Their failures, their sacrifice, the unseen discipline. The dangerous thing about chasing quick wins is that it trains people to avoid endurance. And without endurance, people quit when life stops rewarding them immediately. And that's the other side, because it is the thing that causes you to not keep moving. Because why? You'll say, I'm in a drought. I'm in a dry season. And then you have those seasons. That's why endurance is the thing that we have to do. The Bible tells us endure hardness as a good soldier of the Lord. And a good soldier don't focus on everything around it. Focus on who the Lord and the mission he called you to do. And that's what we have to set our hearts to. And like Galatians 6:9 said, let us not be weary in well doing. Let us acknowledge that doing the right thing can be exhausting. Staying on the path can be long suffering, because being consistent, it gets tiring at times. Building slowly gets frustrating at times. Growing steadily can feel invisible sometimes, because if you peek up and look at somebody else and somebody other thing that they're doing, you're like, how in the world are they receiving the blessings? And they're not just walking in the path that I'm walking. Now you're saying this because you see the fruits of their labor, not seeing the process they're going through, but you see them aligning themselves with things that are aligned with the word of God. And that's how you're saying this, but that is what they're doing. You have to focus on what the mission God has called you to do. Because in the season that God has called you to do, it's not immediate season. And it's definitely not a microwave season, because God is preparing you for the great path that he has you on. So let's think about the due season approach. It's attached to the purpose that God has in you. And many people will miss what God is building because they become impatient with timing, because their life around them start to motivate them the wrong way. Like, oh, get antsy, getting worried. And it tells us not to worry, because we can't change a single thing. But what we can change about ourselves is how we commit to the Lord, and how we can go pray, how we can go fast, how we can do things to put our body under subjection to the will of the Lord, to the word of the Lord, and just hold on to that word and pray. And God is going to give you the strength to endure. We have to stop measuring success by speed. We have to lean to value and consistency. We have to trust the process God is developing in us. So this week, I want you to identify one area where you had been tempted to rush the process. Stop measuring success by speed. Learn to value consistency and trust in the process that God is developing you. Because some lessons can only be learned slowly. Character is built over time. Wisdom is built over time. Maturity is built over time. Be strong, everyone. We'll talk again. Reach one, reach many. Be blessed. Until the next time, have an awesome week. Thanks again for listening to episode of Witness Power Podcast. Like and subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, on the app or wherever it is, and leave comments. Share this podcast with your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, your husband, your wife, your family member, all across social media. Let people know we're here to bless the Lord, and it's awesome to be a Christian. And to support, don't forget to grab a copy of my book, Purposely Married, at purposelymarried.com. Peace.
Have you ever felt that you've not lived up to your full potential? Or maybe you felt that you have no idea what you truly want out of life, but you feel you can do more than what you're doing now? Then I have the book for you. 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose, to help you shake off the stagnation and fogginess into doing your purpose. Go to walkinpurposenow.com. Yes, that's walkinpurposenow.com and grab your copy today and walk in the purpose that you know is designed for you. Remember, I believe in you. So go and grab your copy of 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose and live the purpose that I know you have within you to live.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Witness to Power Podcast. Don't forget to check us out at www.witnesstopowerpodcast.com. And also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And be sure to check out the Witness to Power fan page on Facebook. Have a great week.